Fall camp is officially upon us. Nole insiders Lane Hurt and Tim Lenefelt here with you. Day one in the books, and as Jimbo Fisher said, the shirts fit nice and tight, the shorts fit nicely, the socks were pulled up. A typical first day, which is really good for a team that has big plans on the horizon for the 2017 season.
Yeah, I think that was Jimbo Fisher's creative way of saying that there's really not a whole lot to be gleaned from the first day of practice, just trying to get everybody acclimated to the speed, the rhythm, the tempo of practice, getting everybody comfortable out on the practice fields, especially some of those new guys. So in that sense, no news is good news. Happy with what he saw. I know talking to some of the players, they were happy with the intensity and the energy that they had, and things will dial up here in the next few days.
Jimbo talked for 45 minutes before practice even begun, and glossed over a lot of general items, but he did speak glowingly about two veterans, Rick Leonard starting at left tackle for this year, and Jaquez Patrick, he said, will be the running back number one, day one for this team. What are your thoughts on kind of those two items?
Well, to start with Rick Leonard, I actually had a sneaking suspicion over the summer that could be the case, because you looked at what Florida State lost on the left side of the line last year with Roderick Johnson going to the NFL. Then you had two guys, in Rick Leonard and Brock Rubel, who had a lot of experience at the tackle position. Now, granted, it was the right tackle, but knowing they had played there and knowing that the other two guys who worked at left tackle in spring were both a redshirt freshmen, I said, I wonder if they might try one of those more experienced guys on the left side and see how they do. And lo and behold, Jimbo Fisher comes out today and says that he's done that. He said that Rick has worked at left tackle in practice, hasn't done it in a game yet, but they like what like what they've seen out of him. Pretty comfortable in that spot. And then Jaquez Patrick, that's another one that I think we probably shouldn't be too surprised by. I mean, he's a junior, as Jimbo Fisher pointed out today. Every time he's been asked to carry the load and start over the last couple of years, which hasn't been often with Dalvin Cook, but when he has, he's always responded really, really well. I remember that game here against Syracuse his freshman year when Dalvin Cook missed it with, I think it was an ankle injury. He ran for close to 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, the guy has what it takes to be a feature back, or at least he's shown that he has what it takes up to this point. And to quote Jimbo Fisher, he's earned it, and he has. He's paid his dues, and obviously that's not a reason to give anybody a job, but he also has the ability and has shown it. So he'll start out that way. I think we all expect some of those other running backs to get in the mix at some point. But like Jimbo said today, for as much talk as the idea of Florida State liking to have a running back by committee sort of situation, if there's one guy that seizes the job and deserves to be the feature back, they're going to go with that guy, and you certainly saw ample evidence of that over the last 3 years.
Defensively, no surprise, a lot of talk about Derwin James. Earlier this summer, SI voted him the top college player in the game. ESPN followed suit today. It's a lot of hype for a guy.
Come lately, it's not just
a lot of hype for a guy, but he seems to be handling it well. Even mentioned some of the trash talk that comes from his teammates. If they catch a ball on him in practice, they're like, "Okay, caught a ball on the number one player in the country."
Yeah, and that's good to see. He's been asked about that a couple of times, like at the ACC kickoff, and then today, obviously, with the ESPN list coming out, and he said what I think is, the right answer, which is that it doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's an honor, and he's proud to be named that. But he said today, he's like, look, I've only played in 11 games, or whatever the number is. I still have plenty to prove and a lot to do in college football. So you like it. And I thought what Jimbo Fisher had to say about it was pretty good too. That means you do have talent. That means what did he say? That it's possible you could be the best player in college football. Now what he has to do is turn possible into probable. So something to work toward. And in a weird way, having that kind of ranking, it does put a little bit of, I guess a lot of expectations and pressure on a guy. Now he knows he has to go out and perform, and so that's probably a good thing for any player. It's the nice kind of pressure, I guess you could say. Certainly a lot of attention and a lot of praise, but now you want to go out and live up to that, and I think that's a pretty good thing given what we expect his top level to be.
Tim's done a great job going position by position leading up to camp, parsing through what the Noles have coming. What's one thing that you're looking at from this camp that you want to see?
Well, a few things. One, I think we sort of saw today already with the offensive line. I was curious what was going to happen there, and in a sense they might have solved two position battles between left tackle and right tackle. So that's one that you can sort of cross off the list. I'd like to see what to make of the receivers. They lost so much from last year's team between Travis Rudolph, Kermit Whitfield, Bobo Wilson, and don't forget Dalvin Cook was such a huge part of the passing game too. He's gone as well. So now some of those guys, Auden Tate, Nooney Murray, and some combination of younger guys, whether it's Devontae Phillips or Keith Gavin, is going to have to step up and fill some of that void. And so I'm curious to see what kind of camp those guys have and if they're ready to embrace the roles both as leaders, but just being counted on more to produce, because they're going to have to.
There you have it. Noles camp has begun. We'll have everything you need on social media. Make sure you check out the amazing content there. And of course on Seminoles.com with Tim's written analysis and some of the feature videos that I do as well. That'll wrap up things for now. Don't worry, we'll be here all camp long. For Tim, I'm Lane. Go Noles.